business where hobby meets hustle. Listen up.
Like, what if my grandma's listening?
Shouts out Corey and Tim. Man, who run this? Surely it's them.
Just returned from Burbank. And Cardporn is a scammer. So we got a lot to talk about. The Burbank show. There's a couple other topics, but that Tim wanted to bring up. Probably his card at some point. But that's kind of dying off.
No, it's not.
So go right into the well, no, it's
there's a top.
Like this one guy that we even knew at the.
There's a Luke the Card Artist 1-of-1 coming out soon, and there's also a Card Killer 1-of-1 coming out soon.
That doesn't do anything
for me. It does,
but you and
all
yourself. Right. But one of our very esteemed colleagues, and he's a scholar and a gentleman because he's a lawyer and he's a very good one. Didn't even know. Actually, I don't even know if he's a good one. But totally objected to you having a card and any prior knowledge.
He sent me he said he's sending me a free 48 Bowman. So first subject, we are talking about Cardporn.
Cardporn. Apparently,
you ever talk to him? No, don't. You ever talk to him?
He DM'd me about 2.5 years ago to tell me that my patent wouldn't hold up and that I should get as much product out as possible.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
It was the weirdest thing in the world. It was like he had less followers than I had at the time. And it was like he had like 4,000, I might have like 6,000, not that that matters. I'm just like to give you a timeline.
That's dope, though.
But I saw the account growing pretty fast, and I asked him if he was a collector, and asked him if he ever needed just the whole spiel if we wanted to do like a cross promotion, and honestly, it was the weirdest thing in the world because that's all he felt like he needed to say, and I was like, okay,
yeah. He messaged us too. Remember the fake Jordan thing in Dallas, and then he put us on Cardporn though.
Yeah, and we felt good about that until we realized that it was all we were definitely part of the problem and not.
Yeah, he's messaged me over the last 2 years, 2 or 3 times.
So what do we know? Darren Ravel, dude, that guy is just licking his chops like, oh man,
yeah, this
is the greatest thing I've ever uncovered. Or actually, speaking of Darren Ravel, do you think he's more proud of his Cardporn deep dive or his Tom Brady Hertz receipt?
I put his Tiger Woods strip club autograph 1, Cardporn 2. Do you think that's real? You think he actually found Tom Brady's receipt?
I don't think it's planted because, dude, I don't think like if you're Tom Brady and you're planting this, like you're not doing it to Darren Ravel.
How many days did he have that car for it to be $420-something? You think it was
I know, and that's got to be discounted, right? No, it was a Suburban.
A Suburban for $425? That should have been like a week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I think it was like a Chevy Suburban. But
you know what
think he's going to get it graded?
No, probably. Honestly, because he has proof. Tom Brady, who knows if it's proof or not. Bro, I don't even know. Because, like 3 years ago, people knew who Cardporn was. There's a lot of people that didn't, including me. Like, until we knew the people we knew, they were just like, oh yeah, it's this dude Juan Garcia. It's like this dude Juan Garcia, they call him. Like, everyone knew he was in Australia. When I say everyone, I'm saying like
the people who cared to look. Yeah. Like, who cares to look? That's my question.
So, people know who he was. And then, obviously, some of the bigger people that we consider bigger people in the hobby knew who he was, and they knew him personally.
Yeah, and they got linked to him big time. Like, Ken
Kuntz.
Golden, Shine, all these guys
Kuntz.
were, like, pushing him.
Our guy Troy. Yeah. Our guy Troy from Docker got linked. I hit him up with a message. He's like, why am I on there? I'm like, bro, I don't know. And because it was David Adams was the one that supplied the cases for that Toronto rip with Drake.
Yep. Yeah. And it's weird because, like, the Cardporn, like, there's a lot of people doing the whole cheering, like, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
They're the
type
ones
of
who
thing.
made
And
him.
I get that. They are the ones who made him. And honestly, his account in the beginning seemed to be, I was surprised how fast it grew, but he seemed to be reporting pretty, like, just standard, like, hobby shit, hobby business, whatever, like hobby headlines. Um, and then he started getting like, like picking his,
The first
picking his
time I knew
fights.
about the account, the first time I remember seeing something where I'm like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and I could be messing up the timeline, but right around the time there was that other documentary that came out before with Jeff and Aoki in it, and he made a post saying that like Jeff was like an executive producer on it. Why would they let Vegas Dave? I don't remember how long that ago was, and there was obviously some other stuff because he ended up, you see stuff from him, right? But I didn't follow him at that point.
Well, what's funny is remember he dragged Jeff a
Yeah.
lot, and like all we would hear in our back channels is like it's owned by Jeff and
Yeah.
Ken Golden.
All of a
Like,
sudden, like Cardporn
it's
switched
like-
up, so Ken had to buy it. But I think it's just
Yeah.
like anybody else in this hobby that it's like Cardporn knew he was doing, right? Like if you get a big account, you can hit up any of these guys. They're gonna do something with you. If you have 50,000 plus, even if you have 10,000 plus followers in this hobby, you can pretty much reach out to anyone and get FaceTime with them or Instagram messages with them, or I mean, like posts with them. So I mean, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people linked to Cardporn that just did a business
Right.
deal with him that had nothing to do with the scam stuff. Like it was like breaking boxes, like breaking things. It's like, well, I don't think there's a scam took place because you're just opening cards and blah, blah, blah. But then there's like the Ken Golden actually sold the Cardporn collection. And if he's going off of Cardporn's world, I can't even say that word without sounding from Rhode Island.
Word.
Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people tied to it that just aren't tied to it.
Yeah, but there are gonna. I mean, there's a lot of questions that need. I mean, I guarantee all the auction houses are scrambling. I mean, the fact that apparently it goes deeper than cards. Like Heritage Auctions is involved because they sold.
What do you mean?
Dude, he apparently was deep into like the art.
Oh, the
world,
Banksy
too,
stuff.
and sold the bank.
I'm going to be honest, though, people out there, Opossum Bud, relax, dude. I didn't read the article. I read.
I don't think we're gonna tip his scale because we're not talking Pokemon.
Well, breaking news. Okay, breaking news. By the way, Pikachu is dressing up like Meowth or Mewtwo or whatever his name is. So, Opossum Bud,
yeah, but it's not an anniversary. So calm down.
calm down. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people tied. We had a fun conversation with the boys around people that like aren't sensitive to it, right? So we were throwing names. I was like, "Oh, Bill, a man is all these people involved, right?" But when you think about it, there's like blowout cards. Everything's gonna get exposed. The problem is everything I feel like has been exposed for years, 10, 15 years, 5 years. And I feel like I've heard about it. Like, oh, yeah, no, this happened 8 years ago, but no one cared. Or Ken did this in the 90s, but just no one cares. So, like, no one's going to care. It is what it is.
The people that are set in their space in the hobby are going to stay in their space, I think. I do think, though, that, like, look, dude, this has to be something for Fanatics to look out at. Like, fuck, they're new to the space, and they're like, what do we get ourselves into? A bunch of scammers and, like... Now, granted, they're not seeming to, like, hitch their wagon to anybody, and they seem to be able to, kind of move quick. And I think they're a little more strategic than people. I think people probably think they're strategic. But, like, this guy was, like, the hobby. I'm not even that guard
Yeah,
dog
that's just
shit,
funny.
whatever, dude. I don't.
Yeah.
Nobody's yeah.
Everyone's in
But,
it for themselves. They can stop pretending like.
Everyone's in it for themselves. But this dude, I mean. I'm pretty sure he should go to jail.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't know is, like, what actual international, because we're.
Right, like, all this shit is, like, just fodder for us to go, like, oh, could you believe he did? Like, like Ravel releases this article, and his first move is delete his accounts. Like, why?
Yeah, but have you gone to? Well, because he probably doesn't want to hear it. Because he probably doesn't want to get any question.
Then just delete the app.
Yeah, but
just let the
he
shit sit
okay.
up
So
there.
anyone out there doesn't know, food porn and I forget the other one. So he has two more Instagram accounts. Food porn, who has over 1 million followers, maybe even like 2 at this point.
And porn, who has like
No,
10
it's a
billion
different
followers.
one. It's I'm forgetting the name of it. But anyways, he has 2 other accounts. If you go to food porn and start looking at the most recent posts, keep in mind it has like it's either 1.5, let's just call it 1.5 million followers. You can see comments of people calling Wani a scammer. But the thing is this.
Don't call him Wani.
That's what everyone calls
it.
it. But that's when I learned about him. It was like, oh, Wani Garcia from Australia. But I know for a fact there was certain people that didn't know who he was because I thought they knew, and we'll just call him Beef. And I was like, oh no, it's just this dude Juan Garcia. And then he had his people, hit him with this, and he was like, oh okay, here's his LinkedIn. Oh, I can see he's linked to this account, and you could see it from his LinkedIn. Like Juan Garcia has a LinkedIn, everybody, if you want to go check it out. Unless he got rid of that too.
Right.
But yeah, the thing is this, right? This is one of those things where, we're definitely not experts in any type of authentication. So this is one of those things where it's like fun to think about and play all these games, like all these other trolls, play these games, let's link these people. But at the end of the day, this is a true situation of this is actually being investigated. This isn't what's his face with card trimming. This isn't like this is going to happen right now in front of us.
Well, and even before the other part of it all, so the first part came out was about the jersey and about the jersey was bought as a Jordan game used jersey, and then he did all this like whatever research, which turned out to be not. He just turned out to
Photoshop it.
To Photoshop it to make it from a game 6 championship game, which obviously exponential. But the card or the jersey was never then they're sold after, so like it's almost like you got him a little too early. Now you don't want to see somebody get hurt by buying a false jersey, but like if you went up to buy drugs from a guy and you're like, and then you just turned around.
It was the son. It was the guy's son that was essentially the whistleblower because of they created a fake foundation in his father's name. But yeah, this whole Juan Cardporn thing. Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, he's messaged me 3 times. I've always thought, you know how I talk to people. He's kind of rude, right? He was like fishing for information. Just seems kind of rude as fuck.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I look at this no other different than any of these guys that are trolls in this hobby. They never actually show up in person, and if they do, like he did this year at the National, they still essentially hide themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they think they're. You know what's good though is like, good riddance, Cardporn. See you later. Now maybe we can like let like a Gem Mint step
Gem
in,
Mint's dope.
or like one of those guys. There's going to be a void to fill for like the hobby related content, and maybe it can stay more. I'm not opposed to like sniffing out and like reporting on like scammers, but like, dude, still to this day, I don't know like what he did to Eddie wasn't justified. When he had the picture of Eddie holding up that card and was like, stolen card, making Eddie look out like he knew what he was doing. He just didn't care.
Well, I mean, he doesn't really. All the other guys don't really care either. What they do is they sprinkle in enough truth that you don't pay attention to the lies. You know how I argue with people, Corey. I can pick out one little thing, argue,
Right.
but like that's the thing. Like Jeff's in a movie with Dave, whatever, and then it turns into, well, he's the executive producer. Well, no, he isn't. Oh, well, but he could have declined being in the movie with him. Like, no, okay, you're moving the goalpost and all this other shit. But
Right.
yeah, they never get. Here's the problem, and this, like I just said, they never show up anywhere. They always get half the information, but they run with it because they get more views than you and I, which is whatever.
Yeah, So, speaking of Vegas Dave, and if we want to go to the next topic, um, Vegas Dave had me. That didn't have me thinking about it, but it had me. I was on Instagram the other day, and it struck me because it was the first two videos that I scrolled down. It was Blaze with a freaking stack of cash going to make some ridiculous bet in Vegas, and then followed by Grant from Backyard with so much money that he didn't even know how much it was. And then they're like, he went up to the teller and was like, I want to put this. And the guy's like, how much is it? He's like, I'm not sure. And the guy's like, well, go count it. Go to the cage and get it counted. And he's like, okay. And then they do this whole video. He goes to the cage. They come back and the guy's like, yeah, they told me to bring it back to you. So then they're sitting there counting it. $57,000, I think it was, on a futures bet. So again, that's a bet that will not be realized 8 months from now, however long the NFL season is.
I have a 5-year bet, 6-year bet with Hoj of Card Ladder.
Yeah,
yes, it is real.
That's no money. No, you didn't outlay 57. This is my point. You got to put that 57,000 and just let it sit with the casino to see what happens.
Let me ask you this: are we gambling or are we collecting cards? What are we doing?
That's my question. That's exactly
at that point,
my question. Do you have a problem? And let me start it off by saying I thought I did, but I really don't. Do you have a problem with these guys using the platform they built on the back of cards to push their betting?
No. I'm just against in general, all right, so here's how I look at it.
Don't say bragging.
Yeah, Corey, but also I don't. Wait, yeah, I do. I just don't stacking cat. Here's $50,000. Watch me bet. Because in my mind, it's like you're sitting there in up your hotel room and you're hyping you. I don't know. It just seems weird. I'm not showing. I'll show my card off. I'm not showing cash off.
Right. No, but it's not even showing cash off because, yes, it's showing cash off, but it's showing, dude, can you imagine having $57,000 that you're willing to tie up? First of all, that's a shitload of cash to have just put out into the wind, and it's not like you put a bet on that week. That week you would know whether you won or lost. Jacksonville to win the division.
He might win that though.
It's not a bad bet. It didn't pay that great. It didn't even pay what he bet.
So my thing is, I don't really like gambling that much. I enjoy I'm just a bad person to do this because I don't know.
No, but it's a bigger question. Do you have any problems with people using the platform that Cards built them for other interests?
No. Because we know a bunch of...
And do you think that the hobby will?
That's the case. But that's what I was just about to say. We know a bunch of guys... I can't say a bunch of guys. We know a few guys where it's cards is all they have. And honestly, you got to live a little bit so that you can enjoy the small things like cards. And that's what I mean is bro, I love traveling. I like going to the card shows more for the traveling aspect. You know me, dude. I walk around looking for specific things that usually people don't have. I really enjoy the social experience with collecting. I've always been even the sports card radio song, "You Ruin the Hobby I Love" with your bullshit. Look, I don't see how there's anyone, including Nat Turner, including Michael Rubin, including any of these guys that can ruin this hobby I love. So that's always been the weird thing to me is this happened, so, and if you take the aspect of, well, we want to grow the hobby. I mean, do a lot of people that say that really care? I think that it's just 3 years ago, we need more kids in the hobby. Everyone said that. No one says that anymore. Except for Topps, which this is why you see all the things, but...
I mean, we don't. I don't.
You just
say
do it.
I just
Yeah.
do it. But right, like and that is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like, so again, back to the gambling thing, because I think it's twofold. Like, obviously, Fanatics is coming in, right? They're taking over everything. They've got their gambling arm, so they're going to be commingling. I think like guys like Seablaz and Backyard, they're not only just doing what they would do anyway at a probably larger scale, but I think they are leveraging themselves to gain a little piece of.
Well,
both
when are you
pies
going to do a pick
from
'em
Fanatics
on Hobbsy? You wouldn't want to talk.
See,
You
that's
like
the thing,
talking
like,
football, like in general. Like you love talking
I would
football.
love talking gambling,
but you see a
sports,
difference
yeah.
than coming
No,
on
I
and
would
talking
love it.
about it like right now.
100% not. And again, in the beginning, I thought, okay, watching Seablaz lose all his money is funny, but it's kind of like there is a part of me that says, okay, again, let's take these two bets. These two guys are sport. Seablaz talks about him loving collecting and all that stuff, and like, does he not think that people like see him losing tens of thousands of dollars they possibly could be like for cards, or because it was probably made off of cards?
But that
and taking money out of the hobby.
But that also, that's the thing I was trying to avoid is, you should be using. No. I know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're just literally just talking about it.
I'm just
But
saying the point.
It's like this, right? So, like I mentioned, right? I enjoy traveling. All right, so if I go back home to visit, should I have spent that money? Or like, hey, me and Nikki's anniversary are coming up. Should we go to a less place and tell Nikki, like, look, instead of buying this steak, we could put $50 on this. Like, that's where it gets into, like, you got to do the stuff you love. So if you love gambling and cards and being a foodie and traveling, maybe you like sneakers. I think you can have multiple passions, right? So it's like,
yeah, but when you're using it on your,
you think they should create a separate
like
channel
Seablaz,
almost?
Yes, I think it should be like, but Seablaz is different because it's like Seablaz is a person, as to like Backyard Breaks, his Backyard is like the card channel. So like, yeah, like I think and I'm probably sure they're light years ahead of this, and I'm not like breaking the glass, and they probably have Backyard Bets and like accounts. And if they don't, I want credit. But I guarantee they do, and they're already kind of seeing the future. But like even Seablaz, like maybe like, I don't know, post it on something else, because again, like that to me, like some of the bets are ridiculous, dude.
Well,
This
you don't
guy
think there's
was, like,
levels? Hold on, real
neck
quick. You don't
deep
think
in
there's
it.
levels? And let me make this comparison. So, for example, let's keep Backyard Breaks right in Seablaz, right in the middle of this, right? So then you have someone like Mama Breaks, right? I've never heard her talking about gambling, even though we know like certain like breaking is gambling. Never heard her talking about gambling. So I would be surprised if she came out with, she started talking about that stuff. But like personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Daps went into that lane, because I know he likes that sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Wilson ever. But here's the different level, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Wilson does, because I know for a fact he gambles and fantasy football, all this stuff. But someone like Jeff, yeah, like he has to start a separate channel, because his stuff is so geared towards kids and bringing the people. But
Right.
Backyard, they started off as like a media company, and maybe I'm just wrong too. I just look at maybe like
No, and Daps is a good example of that too. Daps does gambling, and I know that he'll run like gambling picks and stuff on his main page, and like, but again, like why we like Daps and Daps Sports is trying to like, from talking to him, he's not the person anymore. Like he's trying to make it a thing. Now he's still the person, but he's got like his own like separate. He's got a separate Daps like underscore page or whatever. So like I think he would kind of focus it more to that. Or are we go with just a crossover because it's the writing on the wall? Because once Fanatics come
I
in,
honestly
we already
don't.
seen it with what,
That's the thing, though. I'm trying to look at it from a perspective that isn't mine, right? I'm trying to look at it from how would Fanatics want it to be. Does he want Daps bets, right? Or are they like, no, Daps, you're the personality. Show us all your passions, like if you know what I mean. So I don't know I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I'm not a gambler. you've heard I make like $10 bets because I think it's fun. I think it's just fun.
Yeah, and it's weird because gambling's a little bit like it's a broad topic, meaning using your card page for other interests. I think you should, and I don't like for instance, like I don't make like posts that stay on it, but like if I go golfing, I'll like post like the holes or whatever I'm playing. Because dude, I think golf content is huge, and like I think there's a lot of people that would golf.
Well, let me ask your opinion. This is your opinion. You win $50 on a Ravens game. You bet it. Or you pull a gold Luca out of 10 from a box that you essentially bet on. What gives you a better feeling? Or are they the same? Because you're making a bet. You're almost bragging. You're saying, I'm going to buy this box. Or you're going to a break and look for a play. Either way. But you're betting, you're like, okay, I'm going to get a $50 card or this team's going to win. Do you get more pleasure out of a surprise card that you took a chance on, or like Ravens are going to win, right? You know it.
So there's levels to that.
Obviously, if you win $100,000, it means that. But I'm saying $50.
Right. That's
$50.
Right. That's what we're saying. If the values are equal, and it's like I get a $50 card, or I get like I net 50 off of whatever. The Ravens.
Okay. How about the Cowboys? Because I know the Ravens are your team, so bad example. But like, you just win a bet, and you predicted it.
I think honestly, win a bet because yes, I like cards, but like to me, that's why I don't ever get wrapped up in the financial side of cards, and like I have a problem like connecting with those people because, like, to me the like I made a bet, I won that 50. I pulled a card that I don't want, that I know is worth 50. I just got a job.
I see what you're saying.
Now I got to sell it. You know what I mean? Like it's not just $50. So like, yeah, like to me, if you're saying like win a $50 bet or pull like a Lamar Jackson 1 of 1 that obviously is worth more,
but like it's free because you're not selling it.
Means something, right? But let's not even say it's Lamar Jackson because that's actually like crazy valuable. Let's say it's a Ray Lewis 101, like from an autograph. Or like a Ravens player that I love. That to me would get me more excited for a longer period of time. Where the bet I win, place, win, lose, move on. The card, like it's a longer, and there's a story behind it. When you're
another example, you got a little parlay going. You win the first game. That's what I'm saying. You win the first game. We're going to go by games. We're not going to do anything crazy. You win the first game, win the second game. You buy a box of Topps Chrome Hobby. You got a dope auto. And you buy another box, another dope auto. Now we're at the third parlay or third box. You keep going? Are you addicted like that? Or are you cashing?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm talking, but is there a difference? Is there a difference right there from gambling to boxes? Because at that point, you're like, I ripped 2 boxes, I got what I want, I'm done. Whereas gambling, you're going to be like, I'm hot.
Right? Yeah, you're going to start thinking like, no. See, I am somebody who's reserved enough to take the money off the table. Like I don't like win or like I'm always playing with house money if I can.
Cash out and just put another whatever on the table.
Yeah, or like say I win say just for a round number, I win 500. Like I bet 200 to win 500. I'm going to take back the 200 original bet and I'm going to take another like 200 and I'm going to leave play like that part of play money. Like I don't like, I'm not going to go, now let me put 700 on the next game.
How about, okay.
And like,
what about this now? And let's just pretend like we have this type of money. $10,000, $11,000 gamble on a Taco Fractor card that a lot of people don't know what it is.
That's a great segue. And
if I had the money, just to let you know, I'm taking that chance. Because here's how.
Because you already saw what they're doing
with the Wemby thing. But I'm also thinking, and we know this, we know a couple of guys that they do. I don't want to say they care about it, but they do pay attention to the resale market. If you don't think Topps, unless they already had something crazy planned, if you don't think Topps is going to step up their game knowing that someone paid $11,000 for it. I would say they absolutely know the price, and if there was something not worth 10 grand, I think they make it a thing. And then I actually I didn't look it up, so I'm not going to say I tried to look it up.
Here's my only problem with that, real quick though. I don't know that it's been paid, and that really infuriates me. It's got 30-something bids, so let's just, for namesake, say it's worth $9,000. That's still a lot, right? For something that nobody knows nothing about. I think people do know about it. I think you know about it. I think I might know about it, but I don't know that we know the same thing.
Well, at the end of the day, because we don't want to give any. At the end of the day, it's what do I say here? It's going to be
tacos.
It's going to be worth it. Now, is it $10,000 worth it? I don't know. I don't think that Topps could have predicted that people would pay $10K for it. However, and I'm just trying to look it up now.
I think that, yes, I agree with you. I think they're going to react to the
market. I'm trying to look it up now. How much did the Trout follow back card go for? Was it $4,000?
$4,000.
See, I wonder if they did anything extra for that, or Trout just follows them and that's it. You paid $4,000.
I don't know, because Trout's a card collector, so I think, but they didn't really. Here's what's interesting. Like the Taco Fractor thing, I think there's enough people that in the know that drove the price to that. And again, let me ask you this: if you had the money, now this is again we have to play
percentage. I have money to do it
in other people's shoes. You have money to do it, and you also have a business to. Because I have to guess that a lot of these guys are bidding again that are in cards and house money and look at it as a marketing avenue. Would you pay $11,000 to get to meet Wemby and go to that event, be one of the ones?
No.
Or there's 99 of them, so let's say it was only 5 people.
Fine. To meet Wemby. So here's where my mind goes to. I don't think that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's all that happens is you just go there and they hand you the card. No, I think they give you an amazing experience. So if I had the money, I think that's one of those experiences that you can talk about for life. You know, you pull this card.
And I think you can make relationships off.
We would. Like that's easy money.
Can't sell that shit.
But but not every
Like to me it's all about like what like the relationship after. And think about like if nothing else, dude, this is Fanatics' first jump into it. They're gonna blow it.
Well, that's why I also think that at the end of the day, the guy that paid $11,000 will be happy with what he gets for the Taco Fractor. But let's play a little game. You just say yes or no.
Yep.
$11,000. Is it worth free Taco Bell for life? You're paying $11,000 for free Taco Bell for life. Don't you think you'll force yourself to eat?
No,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like you're paying for the taco card,
hold on,
and the taco card gets you, so you're paying $11,000.
Right, but is it a card that gets me access to Taco Bell and like I order whatever I want, but I don't have to eat it?
Well, why wouldn't you not eat it?
No, I would eat it, but like my wife loves Taco Bell. My friends like.
Oh
Taco Bell.
You just get a Taco Bell Platinum card.
So funny thing about that is. Mike Phelps had a McDonald's card. Black, it was a black McDonald's, he probably had a Subway too. Like he did stuff for Subway, but
is that life?
I don't, dude.
Why wouldn't they just let it be life? It's not like there's no way he's like running.
There's got to be a cap though. Like, why doesn't he just feed the homeless? Like, why doesn't he just single-handedly end?
Dude, could you imagine the corporate at like you're out west in LA, and everyone's just lined up outside the McDonald's, and you're just sitting there like boom, boom. They would lose.
Well, and what that happens like some of these companies. I remember Mark Cuban talking about the first thing that he bought was like a unlimited airplane ticket, and like they didn't go down all the fine print, and like they ended up losing their ass on those things.
So you also get to, or like a 10-day vacation to the spot of your choice. I'm trying to think what else I don't want to like.
Be. No, it's probably like a World Series trip. It probably has something to do with that. Here's what I think it is. Here's what would be my reasoning for wanting to pay that much. Would be how I could enjoy the experience, but leverage the experience for business. Because, dude, me and you have an uncanny way to get our way into things. The fact that we know what this is.
What 5 people? What if there's no like plus one?
It's just
yeah, it's
me.
just you and 4 people you don't know, and you guys just giggling about Taco Bell together. First of all, it's not Taco Bell. I also refuse to believe that just so everyone knows, I refuse to believe the people that I've seen do the story about this don't have any inclination of what this is. Because the first one came out like 2 weeks ago about, and I forget who did the podcast, but they had a representative and they were like, oh, it's something that Tops is like. They talked about it. They just didn't say what it was.
Yeah, it doesn't make any other sense unless it's not Taco Bell. I don't even know that it's Taco Bell, but if it isn't, then what? Doesn't make any sense. Why are they putting tacos on cards then? This is not on topic, but viral videos, I think would be a fun little segment. Did you see the video of the Romper Stomper?
Fiddle of what? I'm sorry.
The Romper Stomper?
No.
So they're at a Morgan Wallen concert. A mother and daughter go to
yeah. The woman that came in and beat the shit out of both of them.
Dude, the woman that was in the initial part of the fight was her mom. She looked super young. It was her mom that was getting beat up.
Yeah, you gotta roll in there like that.
They were trying to give her mom a swirly.
Yeah, she ran in. Oh, bro, she whooped their ass, and then they were all confused. They weren't ready to get their ass beat.
Okay, so while that video is great, this is why I absolutely love the internet. You got to watch this.
There we go. Yeah, that woman was going dumb hard.
Yo, the voiceover, they literally go, and the stunner, and that girl kicks her into the bathroom and just shuts it. Like, I just love the internet, and I love clips like that. I love that whole Barstool Pizza video thing. I think that was fantastic. But to that point, do you think that anything card related could ever get to that level?
Well, like, did the One Ring guy even record him opening the pack? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. No, he did. He's got a video of him like.
Oh yeah, but like he wasn't a content creator, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
See, that's what sucks.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it'll never be that. It'll never be that.
So much of it is like how it gets.
It'll never be that big, and simply because like. Are you going to watch highlights of a game, or are you going to watch highlights of a pack rip? I'm from the majority of the people are going to watch the actual sporting event or the sports clips, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I could see something where it would be a blend of like, say there's like a break that goes on at like a halftime show or like in the middle of a quarter, and they just absolutely pull a monster and like the guy like freaks out.
Best case scenario, that situation, and the player comes right over and signs it. But they already did that. They did the All-Star game, pulled a Freddie Freeman card with him and his son.
You've probably already seen all the recaps, but Burbank show, what'd you think?
I had a lot of fun. Tough for the first floor. Second floor was packed.
It was a tale of two card shows.
Did you go there Saturday morning, though? I saw there was more people downstairs because they did a little bit more. Well, first of all, it just must have been busier in general.
It was just, the upstairs was swamped. The downstairs got swamped. Not just swamped.
Yeah.
It got busy. It got like busy, but like it just one thing it does prove to me that we're back into the real world, and this whole concept, and I say it at every card show I've been going to the past 4 to 6 months. These people expecting card shows to be packed on a Thursday and even a Friday, like, isn't happening. People aren't home. They got school. They got work. Like, Saturday is the test. And Saturday was slammed, top to bottom. I think it was a cool venue. I think it did functionally work. Like, I didn't feel like you could walk to everything and there was enough going on. And we booked last minute, so that's a good judge of
Dude, it was like the cheapest
of
hotel
dollars
that
and
I've ever
cents.
purchased.
Right. And then you got your, like I said, if you have kids or a family, you could take them to Disney, which I can't imagine what that would cost. But one thing I do, and I don't want to, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off. Why are all these West Coast people like crying about like they've been neglected?
Nicest weather in the world. Relax out there, California. Take it easy. You guys got plenty of cards. You have some of the best stores, card shops in the nation. The weather's beautiful, and my guy Alex and Wiley from the Union Marketplace have 2 amazing shows of the year, and then smaller ones spread throughout. The Bay Area show, my guy Ray, like
chill out with the whole like, oh, I didn't.
They got Vegas. They don't go to. You know what I mean? They don't go to Vegas. It's 3 hours away. So don't act like they.
Dude, if I'm not mistaken, they're closer to Dallas than I am.
Yeah, maybe.
Or
it's
at least equal. Like, and again, East Coast shows, there's a couple of them going on, like, here and there. But, like, I just don't get this whole, like, the West Coast has been ignored for. Maybe they're just talking about the national.
Well, that's also specifically, like, one of Rob's marketing tools is to. You
think his thought behind that is this is a marketing tool? Or because he's not the only one.
No, he might believe it, but I think everyone hopped on that though.
That's crazy.
I think he hopped on like, oh yeah, like you're saying, like we're neglected when it's really like Dallas, Chicago. Nashville has a big show, so that's all middle of the country. Like I said, the Union Marketplace has 2 amazing shows a year, and then smaller ones in San Diego. Burbank now has 1 or 2 shows. The Bay Area has 1 or 2 shows put on by my guy Ray at Costume Materials. There's plenty of shows out there, and plenty of dope shops.
Yeah, and
they're not neglected.
And no. So that kind of wraps that up. I think Hobbsy was there. Shout out to them.
Hobbsy was dope.
Slab business is your one-stop shop for all things epic.